I thought I would just blindly feed the dopamine as I get triggered. So let's get started. The myth we're going to debunk today is that the Marshall Plan was some kind of aid. No, it was not aid. And the reason why I got triggered is because very smart Intercept dude shared this old article about the quote unquote aid. So let's see. I know I don't have a lot of people, but if you, I hope you enjoy it. While I try to make these quick streams where we debunk myths, which is part of the lesson. It's just a mission of the show. So he said, the thing that triggered me was the word spent, because the word spent means that it was not profitable for the spender, but it was super profitable for the spender. And so that's why I was super triggered. Thank you, Neil. I'm glad that I have somebody who's about as insomniac as me, who is like not as who is as impulsive and insomniac as me. It just triggered me, and I'm like, okay, I could either like try to write an article, never, or like that'll stay in the draft for 2 years, or just kind of do a quick impromptu stream. And with quick impromptu streams, there isn't the same pressure to be so accurate for some odd reason, because I don't know, it's more natural speaking than writing, I guess. So let the fun begin, and we shall look at this. I know you can't see it, so this is an old article from Foreign Policy. See, I hope you can see it now. I'm going to try to make it short so that people can understand. The reason why it is not a profit is because Marshall Plan had all these privatization schemes that enacted the shock doctrine. So that just meant that the U.S. went and robbed the country of its monetary sovereignty and then looted everything. So I personally would not call looting spending. I would call it investing. I don't know, looting. I mean, it's not it's coercive extraction of resources. Okay, so let's go. So whatever, delivered wholly. He announced that to rebuild Europe in the devastating aftermath of World War II. So you know why he did it? I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It rhymes with, well, oh, and then we'll also have a quick debunker about how Wikipedia, okay, found it. Okay. So the first thing is that what we have to remember is, okay, actually I did a little bit of a thread. So let's just kind of go through this thread to see if any of it makes sense. So, okay, now can you see the thread? Let's see. Yes. Everyone talks about the Marshall Plan. How many people know any details about the Marshall Plan? Okay, this was actually a year ago. Awesome. It's like I will give you $10,000 to rebuild your house, but you have to use my brother's company for the woodwork, and then use my sister's company for the painting, and my son for the plumbing. So what we have to remember is, well, let's look at a map first. yeah, let's just quickly look at a map so you'll kind of understand what happened. So, and it's heartbreaking. I know. It's super, super, super heartbreaking to, oh, it hurts. I know, it hurts. It hurts. Because you know that the bad guys kind of won a little bit. Just think of the 90s as a time when the bad guys just kind of got a little bit of an upper hand, like, but the good guys eventually, it's super heartbreaking. I know. So why isn't the map showing? I'm so confused. Okay, let's try it again. Can you see the map now? Okay. So now what you have to remember, let's see, is that the areas in the blue, France had, okay, trivia, I will ask a trivia question. Who was in Hitler's bunker till the end? A, the French Wehrmacht, or B, the German Wehrmacht? It was the French people. So France had an extraordinary amount of Hitler collaborators. Italy actually did a pretty decent job of getting rid of most of their Mussolini collaborators, so it was actually a little hard to do this in Italy. But in France, it had an extra. I don't think you guys understand the scale. No, there was no. That's the important part, is that there's no such thing as a debt with a monetary sovereign with a military. Okay. So I don't think you understand the scale. 18 million Wehrmacht alone. Let me see if I can make a nice little ticker quickly. Let's see. Okay. So no, I know. Okay, so it's 18 million Wehrmacht alone. 18 million people. Think of it literally. California, New York, but then when you add up all the auxiliary troops and all that, it's about 23 million people. A lot of genocidal maniacs in that scenario. No, we don't. I don't think you understand what the word debt means. Oh my God, I need a smud to censor this person. Otherwise, I'm going to get very distracted. Okay. If I can't, I'm really going to get distracted if I don't censor this person. Okay. Okay. So what you realize is that France had a lot of collaborators, and then Germany, West Germany, U.S. was just like filled with Nazis, like Adolf Heusinger, blah blah blah. Like it's not even it is literally not. It is literally not up for debate. All the Nazis that were in France and Germany and whatnot. Okay, we're gonna kick this out. I can't handle this. I'm just gonna get distracted. Okay, I'm timing out this person for not being useful for me. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I can't. Okay. I have ADHD, so I really need to. Okay. So there were no deaths. There was destruction. So let's look at what some countries looked like. Let's see. Well, I don't have. Okay. Let's try this. Well, let's look at what some countries. Thank you, Mark Jackson. Yeah, I don't believe in. I'm very authoritarian about free speech. If you're going to distract me, you don't get your comments. I'm sorry, but I need to focus, and I have ADHD, and it's really hard. So now, if you're gonna like try to argue with me, now is not the time. It just not does not work. Okay. So the U.S. kind of like the Nazis because we know this from various books. Like just actually the CIA Nazi. Thank you. Yeah, there's literally go to cia.gov and click on the Nazi disclosure files. The Nazi, what is it? CIA Nazi War Criminal Disclosure Act. There's like billions of like I literally you can't fit it in one computer. There's a lot of Nazis. Anyways, so okay, actually let's take a few more steps back. Read my article, The Economy of Evil, and you'll realize that fascism is capitalism, and fascism is capitalism going a little wild. So if you're a capitalist, cannot be opposed to fascism. The US was just annoyed that Germany was going in on their turf more than anything else. That's why the US screams about Germany invading Poland. But they're very quiet and they're like, oh, you should go just kill those, I don't know, Slavs. Like they're really cool about the 27 million Russians and they're like Hitler, Stalin, whatever. But then they're like Poland. What you don't realize is that Poland was carved out via balkanization, and they did it because they were afraid that the Bolsheviks. Poland was part of Tsarist Russia. Poland was balkanized by the French paying Pilsudski lots of money, lots of weapons, and getting him a lot of mercs who just went. They had a campaign of Polification, which is exterminating anyone they didn't think was Polish, in order to create like their little capitalist land where Pilsudski allowed a lot of foreign concessions for America. So that's why they were like, Poland, Molotov-Ribbentrop, Poland, because that is the day that they lost their investments in Poland. And that's why they don't go Serbia or they don't go Belarus, even though like the absolute destruction wise, like nothing compares to Belarus. It's like they lost 1/4 of their population. So but they go Poland precisely because that was the day that they lost their investments in Poland. And they always talk about invading Poland's sovereignty. Well, guess what? Who recognized Poland? The Allies. So it's like you created a country that you want the world to recognize, and the reason why you scream so loud about their sovereignty is because you know that this is completely nonsense and this country you just created. Same thing with Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria. Anything that was not England, France, and Spain was essentially just like randomly balkanized in order to profit American and British capitalists. So, anyways, so they're not at all angry about the fascism because if you go to New York Times, you'll see that they refer to Mussolini as a new hope. Like there was an article where it's like they totally want to screw Mussolini. They called Hitler like, oh, really anti. Yeah, that's literally what America does. It just it gives you little driplets of facts, but it erases all historical context. And on top of it, you don't have any meta analysis as to why certain facts are highlighted. Like, why is it that they cry about Poland, but then they don't cry about Czechoslovakia? Because Czechoslovakia was a democratic country, and Czechoslovakia did not collaborate with Germany and Hungary to invade Poland, but Poland did. So the Czechoslovakia thing is that they dismembered it because it was a democracy. No, we're talking about the Molotov-Ribbentrop. No, sorry. We're talking about the Marshall Plan. 1947. 1945 to 7. Sorry. I don't know why I said Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. So we're definitely not talking about current affairs historically. So yeah, so a lot of times you will like it takes a while to understand why certain things get like so deeply embedded in US consciousness and certain things don't, regardless of what is atrocious. And yes, you should, because it was a completely democratic country. They dismembered it. It led to the deaths of millions. They destroyed it. I don't know what else to say. And they destroyed it because it was democratic. And by the way, as a check, Schindler's List should make you super angry because Schindler was a bloody traitor to his country. Yeah, he collaborated with the Abwehr, and I don't understand why Steven Spielberg would want to glorify a traitor and a Nazi. Yeah, he was he was no worries. That was fun. Okay, so now when Europe was bombed, they had nothing. People were very poor. Let me see if I can show this like German, Italian film. I don't have subtitles, but we can kind of show that to show how much Europe sucked. Let me see if I can find that film even. Found it. Okay, let's see if I can play it. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Found it. It's called Anni Zero Alemania. It's like, okay, this is crazy. So just don't worry about what the words say because I hardly know it. It's like French, Italian, German, like just languages most of us don't speak. But what you need to look at is like the situation. Okay, this is like Germany right after the war. The devastation. Look at the devastation. And this is the Allies doing it, by the way. Roberto Rossellini film. Germany, year 0. Primo, some sort of film festival in Locarno, 1948. This is a film idea prodotto diretto da collaboration with some other people. I'm just afraid to forward this because the most important part is in the beginning where you see the devastation. To show you how terrible everything was. Can you send me the English version if you have it? This film is dedicated to the memory of somebody Roman. Oh God, I can't read French. Okay, yes, that is correct. Nazi bad. Good job. That puts you a step miles ahead of everyone else. See how this is like Berlin. Look at all the devastation. So I guess we have to deal with the Italian, German, French, and not an English thing. We can't afford to. Do you follow me on Twitter? Do you want to come and translate? I can invite you to the stream if you follow me on Twitter. Correct. Miles ahead of everyone else on Twitch, so good job. Keep on going. But I think that Movies in German though. I don't know what else to do. Hold on. I don't want to get copyright things. I hope it's not copyrighted since it was 1948 Italy, but whatever. Okay. So I'm just going to pause it and say random crap. Good job. Progress. I call this progress. Remember that, memorize it, and keep it. Something. So these are old ladies digging. This is the, I believe, Western British sector. No children are working child labor. Okay, let me see if is there an English version of the film? Okay. Except I can't download it and I can't access it, and it costs $76. I don't have $76. It's locked. I don't have the money. Okay, so we're just gonna have to deal with this. Just learn foreign language. Just somehow. He's 15 years old. So this, okay, but he looks like this little boy is 15 years old, and exactly. Don't be racist. Excellent. Good job. Okay, we're gonna just learn a foreign language. I'm sorry. Just go use. I will try my best. Okay. So look at this boy. How small he is. He's 15 years old. He looks like he's 10. This is a symptom of malnourishment. And you know why they have malnourishment? Because of fascism, which is for making the rich richer and the poor poorer and exterminating the really poor people, like turning those really, like they had extermination on a massive scale. They ignore the class character of fascism because they don't want you to they want you to be like, all sides are equally bad, and not understand that this poor boy and millions of other poor boys in Germany were undernourished and malnourished in 1945.
Nein, 12 ist er. Ich weiß es ganz genau. Geht mit meinen Jungen in eine Klasse.
Stimmt das?
Lassen Sie mich los!
Wo ist dein Arbeitsbuch?
Es ist in meine Tasche drin. Das stimmt nicht echt. Das gefällt mir. Die Lause Jungs sind zu
No, he's not 15, he's 12. But he's like, look at how thin he is. And oh my God, look at how malnourished he is. And he has a sweater because he's chilly. That's a dead cow. Yes, please give a plot synopsis. It's about how much life sucks in the British zone and how, yeah, of course you can give a plot synopsis. You want to come online? I don't know. I can invite you if you want to come on stream. Do you want to come on stream, Neil? No pressure. Just say yes or no somewhere. Want to come on stream? Okay. Let's see. Are you following me on Twitter, or do you? Yep, that is the main character. Yes, because he's really poor. Neil is right. And basically what I'm trying to tell you is that the reason why there was the Marshall Plan is that it's just the same as the other aid. They did not rebuild Europe. Okay, well, we don't have to go that far. But I wasn't planning on going that far. But yeah, I just want you to see like how devastated Europe was right after the war. Okay, can you send me the link? Okay, give Neil the link of the public domain file, and he will make sure I get it.
Kranker Mensch ist.
Krank sein hin, krank sein her, krank sein.
This is his family. Okay. So yeah, so what you realize is that the Marshall Plan was actually based on two things. Right? If democracy were to run its course, this is what you saw. You saw people who hated being mass exterminated and forced worked as slaves. And there's only one group of people that actually fought the mass exterminators. That was the communists, and then the partisans, who were also communists, but they were just not part of any official army. They were just like really cool people. So if democracy had run its course, all of Europe would have been communist, and then the gravy train for the US empire would have been cut. So what they did is that they basically purged the people who fought the war and put in collaborators in power in most of Western Europe. I kid you not. They had, and then this is so this is the diabolical aspect. The first thing is that they purged communists. And okay, let me see if I can yeah, I will share this again, the screen. No worries, Neil. It was good. Okay. So now basically it had provided that the amount guarantees the investment. As used in this, a person means a citizen of the United States or any corporation, partnership, or other association created under the law of the United States of any state or territory and substantially beneficially, what the hell? Yeah. So what it says is that provided that the part as further in this title, including guarantees of investment in enterprises and distributing information media. What does this dude, you came to a historical channel called Historically. Next time learn to read. Yep, Gladio new files got released. I haven't downloaded yet. So give me some. Yeah. So basically, this was a anti-communist purge. They also the country, not the United, had to guarantee the procurement of petroleum, be made. And then this is why they really hate Mao. Recognizing they also had this like privatization relationship with the Chiang Kai-shek government, and they're like, oh no, our investments. Okay, this is really cool. In the Senate, 1940. Okay, I will mark this before I can do it because this is super, super, super cool. In the Senate, 1947, an appeal to American business was made to advocate for the Marshall Plan. Apparently, this editorial is in the appendix. But it found it. Okay. Let me see. To the board of directors of American business editorials from Fortune magazine, published in Fortune magazine. So this Marshall Plan in 1947 literally the US government was talking openly to businesses to ask how awesome it was. And what you see, okay, so what you see is that it is a privatization scheme written by American businesses in collaboration with certain non-American businesses. And if they're European and they're a business in 1945, you know who they collaborated with. So basically it was a massive privatization scheme. Yeah. So to call it aid or spending or whatever is full of nonsense. In fact, it's just complete and utter nonsense, because it's not aid. It is, let me colonize you and take away your sovereignty and then force you to put our military bases here so that in case anyone else wants to get rid of us, we have the guns and we can go bang, 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 bang. Sweden, Italy have both had its prime ministers or presidents assassinated. Yeah, exactly. Bingo. So aid is just the wrong bloody word. Okay, but that was the least of my. Okay, that was actually the main of my trigger. I'm kidding. Europe path to prosperity. No, that was colonialism that put Western Europe back into prosperity. In that the U.S. helped France rebuild its What email? Did I share your email somewhere? I don't know. Did I do it? Sorry if I shared your email. Sorry. Okay. So what you see is that, yeah, it was no that okay. So Europe was put back. Europe, as in Western Europe, white people, colonizers, were put back on a path to prosperity because they continued to colonize more. Hailed as monumental, expensive for, oh my God, you took away their monetary sovereignty. It was not expensive for you. You did not do crap. Funneled. No. You did not funnel. You printed money, resource and you created a global system where the whole world has to bow to your whims and desires since the Bretton Woods. This is nonsense. Aid, come on, privatization schemes. Europe does not have world-class infrastructure because of you. Europe has world-class infrastructure because that was the deal that they made with the labor aristocracy, that you kind of turn the blind eye on when we kill everything that moves, and then you kind of let us exploit Africa. And if you don't believe me, on TikTok, I put a speech. Literally, actually, even on Twitter, I believe I don't have it subtitled though, but there is a speech by Chirac who says that France would have been a third world country without Africa. So this is a lie. Okay, let's continue. Okay. This is all word salad. Okay. Who was it sent to? Privatized. Monsanto. Okay, I hate it when they said aid. No. This is not aid. So the U.S. Department of Agriculture spent $34 million by just like giving money to Monsanto. Come on. Okay. Anyways, so this is just not hobbled. You hobbled it. this just irritates me, because what it is that it's the guilty that blame the innocent. What I hope I don't know what I did. I'm sorry. I don't understand what I did. Okay. Yeah. So the guilty. So it was not aid back then. It is not aid right now. It is. Yep. That's exactly what Chirac said. Today there's something called CFA Frank, which has 12 or 9 African countries that France does not have monetary, like these countries don't have monetary sovereignty. They have mercenaries, everything. Yeah. So even today, France loots from Africa. Like these African nations have to give France the right of first, like basically they need to first extraction. Yeah. So once you understand, like this was just a neo-colonialism project. There was nothing nice about it, nothing 80 about it. And now that's not how Europe, lots of places in Europe has great infrastructure, but that is despite of you, not because of you. And yeah, it's just disgusting. Propaganda. I just hate it. 14 countries. Yep, 14 countries. That's correct. So that's why you have to be really nitpicky. Or just read the conditions. Yeah, literally read the World Bank conditions, the IMF conditions. Like there's not, like literally they just tell you they're right open because they're in power. When you're in power, you don't have to hide about all the evil things you do, because who's gonna remove you. So they don't hide. They just put it right there. The only people that have to hide evil things is when they're not in power. So that's all. It's literally right there in the contract. Just slowly and loudly read it to yourself and think about what each word means and what each sentence means and why they're doing it. And then it's basically the same contract over and over and over. And soon you'll kind of understand it. Laughing Mao, correct. Check out my earlier stream today where I to go over some the first section of the BRI, and there's an upcoming there's going to be a lot of coup-like situations in East Asia coming up, because the U.S. is feeling threatened and it's kind of they're like trying to burn everything down. And they're also not fighting climate change. In fact, they're trying to burn everything down. And they're in that process, they want to burn down the only people who can fight climate change, and that's China. So you have to kind of remember how evil your evil is, because it's pretty evil. And of course, they're not going to do anything domestically. And if they do anything domestically, it is part of some kind of imperialistic snare, blah, blah, blah. So don't be an idiot. Whenever you see something in the New York Times, remember that they say that it's news that's fit to print. Figure out why it's fit to print right now and not a year ago when it was still, or 10 years ago or 30 years ago. And then look at the NED database, and eventually you'll see who's behind it and why. And also don't just blindly believe opposition. Ask what their platform says, and if it says something like there are too many ambulances in the country, or there's too much water, or whatever psychosis, you know that those are bad people. So the reason why the US has to coup is because the ideas are terrible for those people, and you cannot get people to democratically elect their own exploitation. The minute you give them a choice, they're going to say, nope, I'm not going to be exploited. So that's why the US has to coup. If it could have been done democratically, it would have done much easier democratically, because if it's just democratically, you just need to flood money, but they can't. And one great example is Thailand's Beto. Is Thanathorn? I don't know whether he's Thailand's. Let's put a thing is Anna Thorne, his Thailand's Beto or Pete. I say he is Beto or Pete. I can't figure out. I'll show you a picture and you decide. Okay. Where is he? So he has been Thanathorn. See, BBC loves him. That's a red flag. You should be actually. It's kind of funny. Even if you're like blindly tanky, as opposed to understanding how these systems, you'll probably be right all the time. But don't worry. You don't. You should not. You should understand. Okay. Does he? He looks kind of. But he looks kind of Beto, or is he more like a Pete? I can't tell you. Anyways, he's a billionaire. So what he did was he hired a U.S. lobby group a week before the election. So when the reason why he had to hire a U.S. lobby group, is the answer is really going to be really surprising. He's a billionaire. So this means that there must be something in Thailand that cannot be bought with money, and that's the government. Otherwise, why would a billionaire need to hire a US lobby group a week before the elections that he's going to lose if he could buy the government with money? That makes no sense. There may not have been a part 2 or 3. I might have just misnumbered for all I know. Sorry. That makes him a billionaire. Yeah, his dad was like some loser, but like I said, something cannot be bought in Thailand because he's trying to buy the US government. So if something cannot be bought in Thailand and the thing that he wants is the power, it's the government that cannot be bought with money because they have some kind of structure that I won't go off too much because I don't know enough to even talk about it. But this is with knowing this one information that the billionaire a week before the election hired an American lobbyist. How can it be normal practice when the party just started a week ago, like a few months before this? So I forgot. Oh yeah. So I'm just saying that, and now there have been like really weird concern trolls about Thailand's authoritarianism, blah blah blah, blee 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 blee, and they're just kind of angry. Yep. Oh, he was. That's his father. Is that his father? Interesting. No, that's not his father. This is the pre 2014 dude. Yes, and he was definitely trained in the US. I'm looking for Tana Thorne's father. Who is he? He was an important person. No, it's her mother. His mother. That's the CEO of the some like manufacturing company. Okay, not his father, but same thing. Okay. anyways, yeah. So the U.S. is kind of upset that the Thai government now won't let them go as gully as possible, and so yeah, so that's what's going on, and the reason why I'm kind of I just wanted you to guys use common sense in regards to just everything you hear. So what I was trying to say, oh, I know. Okay. The Marshall Plan is like the first iteration of the shock doctrine, and it's just gotten worse and worse since then. So each time they try to do a coup, they have to do it against the will of the people, because, like I said, if it's even if it can be manipulated, like it's so against the will of people that this is like they can't flood money and manufacture consent. So it must be what they want for Thailand. It must be really horrible. And you can also figure out that there are different levels of people. So things will trickle down differently. Like what they want. So what they can handle with you may be different. So you can't assume that your cycles are benevolent for everyone. They're not the same. Sovereignty is very, very important for each country, and they're screwed without it. Okay. So, and the US can never be for democracy because people will always vote to not have themselves be exploited. That's when the death squads come. So if you kind of remember, if they have a voice, they'll always say, screw me, screw you, don't exploit me. And then, psh. So the more violence they need, the more horrible they have as plans for the people. And the more they can't manufacture consent, they're using just a coercive arm. Helicopters means horrendous. Like the more gruesome the violence, the less consent they can manufacture. So, anyways, and this opposition, like every other opposition, is not peaceful and so on. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Neil's got the 3-step process really good. Anyways, so I just want you to remember that every time you hear USAID, USD, blah, 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 because ultimately you kind of have to convert everything to stuff like hardcore stuff like iron, things that you get on Earth. Like you have to kind of connect to that. And if you connect that to it, you will see that it's all about, then you'll see like how much resources being transferred from one place to another and what are they getting in return and how much labor it like when you do that, then you'll understand that the whatever the US does, it's to like rob countries of their sovereignty. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my short. Don't be stupid, don't be a regime change dupe, and don't just kind of think about things like spent. What does spent mean? What are they trying to imply? Is this what they did? Is this a relationship that when you spend money to buy shoes, what's the relationship you have? Is it the same kind of relationship that they have when they privatize everyone's water in Bolivia? No. That's why spend should not be used. And you should say structural adjustment, killing everything that moves, whatever. I don't know, throwing people from helicopters or whatever else it looks like. So with that, I shall bid you auf Wiedersehen.